Well, I feel really good about the work we've done, the additions we've made. I feel like we've got a really, really strong group of guys, and it's our job to continue to seek ways to continue to improve it. The guys we've signed have certainly improved our bullpen from where we started the offseason. There are some that are capable of pitching at the back of the bullpen as well. But over the course of the season, we're going to need more than what we currently have, and so some of that's going to need to come internally with our player development, and some of it may be externally. But it's our job to continue to look for ways to upgrade.
Have the developments on the market the last couple of days with Kittredge and Leclerc, does that have any impact on whether or not you guys would be able to add somebody that's got some back end experience?
We're just staying open-minded, Evan. Yeah, you can't speak relative to what's been done the last few days, but we're just going to stay open-minded.
Jacob was in here a few minutes ago talking about he's able to just look at the target and try to throw. What does that mean for you guys, knowing he's got that piece going into the spring training?
Well, I said last night that one of the things I'm most excited about is a healthy season from Jacob, and for our fans to see what that looks like and how good he is. So it's just electric, and coming to the ballpark every day that he's pitching, knowing that we've got a great chance to win the game. It's an exciting feeling, and our fans truly haven't experienced that over the course of a season, and we're excited and hopeful that this is the year they get to see that.
Do you believe Wyatt Langford's immune to the sophomore slump?
Well, I think there are a lot of guys that don't have sophomore slumps, so I think Wyatt's a great player, and last year the way he finished is we saw what he's capable of, and we're excited to continue to see his development improve and him to continue to grow as a player. But by no means do I think he's a finished product. I also think he's going to continue to he'll experience some tough times, as all players do. We see Corey Seager, Marcus Simeon go through tough moments over the course of a season. But Wyatt's a tremendous player, and I'm not worried about a sophomore slump.
Well, September, though, was as good as it gets in the American League, at least that month.
Yeah, he was player of the month. It doesn't mean that he won't have struggles this coming season, but I think just with the type of player he is, the things that he does well, he's going to continue to minimize the slumps or the down times, and we're going to see more and more of the good times.
And then regarding the bullpen, like Bill and Evan, you guys added 5 guys. You only have 8 spots, and you're going to need some multi-inning guys. Seems like that's going to be a puzzle to.
It always is, and the way we have it organized right now probably won't be the way it is coming out of spring training. That whether it's injuries or performance, there'll be some things that happen. We can't predict it, but I do know that if we can assemble the best collection of talent and arms that we can, and present Boch as many options as possible, that we'll be in a good spot.
Or is piggybacking a legitimate thought at this point for like a Rocker if he makes the rotation, or Jacob just because of the injuries that they're coming off of?
Well, it'll just play itself out. It's not something we're specifically scripting at this point. We'll be open-minded, and depending on who the personnel is and what the needs are, we will put together the best pitching staff possible to help us win.
What's the message to Kamar and Jack going into this spring training after what they were able to do within the last season, the experience they got, and what you hope for them?
Yeah, that we're relying on these guys. That our expectation for them is that they're going to be significant contributors to our 2025 pitching staff, and our expectation is that, especially with the success that we saw from both those guys in September, that we want them to be able and ready to contribute to our team.
Have you had any conversations with Adolis this winter?
Me specifically, I've been in touch with his agent, and our staff has communicated constantly with him.
And he's spent the whole winter here as opposed to...
Yeah, he's had a great offseason. He's, last year he had the injury in the World Series and wasn't able to train. And when we got to spring training, it was a little bit of the ramp up to his season. And as we look back, it was just a tough offseason. It was for a lot of our guys. And that's, the blessing and the curse of winning the World Series and playing till the end. It does shorten the off season, and normally guys are delayed with their ramp ups. And we're in a great spot, not respective to just Adolis, but to everybody. And so I'm really excited about where we are physically with all of our guys, the work that they put in, and the condition that they're all in as we approach spring training.
And I know he stayed here. Did he work with like Justin and Donnie? Has he hit with them?
He's been hitting with our hitting coaches.
Based on, because the one thing that we talked about, right, was his struggles with the fastball last year and the extra movement in his swing. How confident or how do you feel about the fact that he spent so much time working with those guys specifically on being
Well,
able to address
yeah,
those
but Evan,
issues?
he worked with them last year. It's not like he didn't work with our coaches. I mean, so I think it's unfair to say that our coaches are going to solve. I think part of this is just, the players go through good years and bad years, and some of that's related to the training and the physical state of where they are in the off season and how they come into the season, and then if your body's not allowing you to do some things that maybe you're accustomed to doing. But he's in a great spot. He's worked so hard. I'm really, really excited for him.
Chris, I'm sure, I don't know if you've seen this or not, but when the Dodgers signed Sasaki, one of the concerns was we had a defending World Series champion that just added to their payroll by a substantial amount.
Well, Sasaki didn't add much.
No, but I mean, between Otani and now just a talent standpoint, they're loaded, right? And whether or not loading up for one team like that is good for Major League Baseball. And the Mets have done it. Yankees have done it historically over the past. We've been in all three parts as a player, executive, work for the team, work for the league. What do you say to that concern?
I think Mac in general, I would say that I think it's great for every fan base to have a feeling of hope as you approach spring training that they can compete for a championship. And my primary focus is providing that to our fans and our community. And I feel great about where we sit today, our roster, and really not too worried about any other team. I'm worried about the Texas Rangers, but stepping back and looking at the overall health of the game, one, I think the game's in a great spot. But I do think, as a fan in any respective city, I would hope that, they would feel good about their chances to compete for a playoff spot in a World Series. And, beyond that, I can't say much more.
Do you feel good about how the Sasaki thing played out where you guys are concerned?
As it relates to us, I'm proud of our organization. We put our best foot forward. We made a great presentation. We had what I felt like was presented who we are as an organization, why we felt like we were a great fit. And, at that point, it's up to the player to decide if it's a fit. Unfortunately, we didn't get a visit. But I can say that we've had a number of other free agents that are star players and well-accomplished big leaguers who want to be Texas Rangers. And I think it speaks for what we've done as an organization. And we'll continue to focus on players that want to be here.
Is there any concern on your part that this was not but a genuine process, that this was predetermined that he was going to the Dodgers?
Evan, related, I know the rumors were out there, and from my experience, I can't say I know Joel Wolf, his agent, well. I trust Joel immensely, and the Wasserman firm. I can't suggest that there was anything that wasn't a fair process, but I don't know everything.
Chris, obviously one of the bigger themes this season is going to be your manager. Maybe he's going to come back. Do you have any feeling about that if he wants to do this after this season?
Yeah, Mac, I think about it constantly. I mean, I do. Yeah, because I think more than anything, I mean, not just what he means to our team, but I love working with him. And I enjoy showing up to the ballpark every day and going in his office and having conversations with him and talking about, life, baseball, the team. And we laugh every single day. I mean, I couldn't have a better relationship with Boch, and I also want to be respectful to him in terms of what the future looks like, and that's his decision. If Boch wants to be back, he will be back, and if he's had enough, then we're going to get him an office upstairs and let him come sit by me and hang out and still have those laughs that we share, just in a different environment. But, I think he's the perfect manager for our team this season. I'm really excited about the roster that we have for him. And I'm excited to see him and our staff, which I think is very talented, go out and get the best out of these guys.
I was going to say there's a lot of new personnel on the coaching staff. What have you thought about the way that they've meshed or just conversations with them?
Yeah, we brought them all in mid-December for the exact reason, Abby, to get these guys around each other, get them familiar with each other. I didn't want them showing up to Arizona to be the first time they were meeting in person. So we had it, and this is one of the beauties of Boch, is that he's so good at bringing people together and connecting, and immediately everyone felt welcomed, and they understand their roles. Their responsibilities are well defined and laid out. They're all collaborating. I expect that we're going to get off to a very smooth start in spring training.
Is Luis doing spring training?
Yeah, Luis and Corey Ragsdale together. Corey split it with Will Venable in the past, and so Luis and Corey will continue that. And these guys are has done such a great job. He's kind of got what we'll call the institutional knowledge of our inner workings and people. And then Luis coming in, and then we've got Skip as well to provide an objective view and some of his thoughts. As someone who's new to the organization as to what's worked for him and some of the things they've done in Miami or San Diego or other places he's been. So really happy with the external additions that we've had, but Luis has been phenomenal and we're excited to have him.
One other, I guess, injury thing, but how do you guys feel about Evan Carter going into spring training? I know he's healthy, but just kind of building him back up to game ready.
Yeah, we're just, he's resumed full baseball activity. He's feeling great. He's put on a little mass, and we feel great. He's a big part of our season, a big part of our team, and we've all seen how talented Evan is and how much he impacts our team when he's out there. And so getting him back to his form and keeping him on the field is going to be really, really important for us, but we feel great about where he is and the work he's put in.
Well, center field is TBD. That's something that's got to work out in spring training, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't think we're going to have, I think, there's a number of options. We've got really good options there. Wyatt's played center, Evan, Leote, and even I think Josh Smith is comfortable going out there if we need it. And I think this is a great thing where we have multiple players that we can, one, if somebody's underperforming or injured, that we've got other options. And then two, we've got different ways of keeping guys fresh and healthy. And presenting different roster constructions, lineup construction that will allow us to match up with teams and even pinch hit, substitute, stuff like that. So it's a good thing.
What is the best use of Josh Schmidt's time? I mean, last year obviously the injury to Josh Young let him play, but what is ideally the best way to use
I think super utility. I mean, getting third base short, maybe even second base. He could play first if we need it. He could play the outfield and DH. And I think there's ways we can get him in the lineup at least 4, if not 5, maybe even 6 days a week, depending on the need. But Josh has done such tremendous, and that's a hard role for a young player. And we saw how Josh stepped in last year and handled that and was able to perform while playing defensively very well at multiple positions. That's a very hard thing for a young player to do. It's a hard thing for a veteran player to do, and Josh has shown a great ability to do that. And it's such a versatile skill set and something that's so important to our team.
What is it about him that has,
Kennedy.
I'm sorry, that has allowed him to fill that role again as a young player? He came up, a couple years ago and has played pretty much at almost every position at this point.
Well, I think just his aptitude and his willingness to work at each position, and he's a really smart baseball player. I mean, you watch him run the bases or some of the things he does defensively. He's a very heads-up baseball player, and I think just all of that combined with his physical talent allows him to be successful and really shuffle between positions.
Went to a good university too.
Where'd he go?
How different is this offseason for him? Last offseason he was kind of at a crossroads and you've got to make improvements or something's going to change. This offseason maybe he has that peace of mind of, knowing what worked last season. Have you talked to him about just the workload?
Yeah, we've had conversations with Josh in terms of the workload. I think relative to his off season, I think last year was a great example for him. As a young player, you're always looking to establish your routine and understanding who you are and what you need to do to be successful. And Josh, his off season last year was validated by his performance. And I think that his ability to continue that this off season should continue to result in a very solid performance. So with all these guys, the offseason is critically important. It's where you actually are able to really make improvements. You're able to physically train in a way that you can't during the season. And you can make some significant strides. And, for whatever reasons, whether guys experience injuries or they're not able to train at the level that they need to, when you miss an off season, it's tough. But Josh has put in the work. He's done a great job, and he's in a good spot.